What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Today is March 19th, 2025. Shout out to everybody catching this on the live. If you're catching this on the live, come on in, come on in. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. And also let me know where you're watching this out of. Excuse me. It's super awesome to see where everybody's watching the videos from. So shout out to everybody joining on the live. And as always, just a point of reference, after this video is completed, I'm going to place timestamps in the description down below so you can move forward and backwards to the videos and stories and topics and whatever the scenario is. Ideally, I want you to watch the whole thing, but hey, I know we got stuff to do. So again, today is March 19th. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. What is up? I want to give a huge shout out to the moderators in the chat before we get going, because the moderators make the chat super clean. So shout out to the moderators in the chat. What is up? What is up? And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live. What is up? What is up? Kudos to you. Thanks for joining me at 6 p.m. PST. Let me get a quick roll call. What is up, Patrick? What is up? What is going on? My mind in the house. My mind says we are live. It's alive. It's alive. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Oh, Miss G. Moosey, what is up from Sacramento, California? Hopefully you're doing amazing. Patrick Kennedy, what is up? He says, Maha. Rebecca, she says, quite the intro. Love it. Northern Nevada. Northern Nevada. What's up there? Reno? Are you in Reno? Or is that too? Where are you at in Northern Nevada? Sparkles in the house. Emergency, help pray to Jesus for guidance, miracles, peace, USA world. Amen to that. Amen to that. What is up, Bright Star? Daniel in the house. Bobby, what's going on? What is going on? Northern Colorado. I like Colorado. I like it. How many of you guys been to Colorado? Colorado's an awesome place. Catherine, what is up? Hopefully you had an amazing day today. I've been to Vail, Colorado. What else is up there? I can't even think. I water rafted in Vail, Colorado. I'm trying to remember the other places we went. We did like a backpacking, mountain biking situation up there. What is up, Gloria? Watching from Bakersfield, California. Rebecca says, Reno is too big. We're a small community about 80 miles southeast. Okay. No, not so much anymore. Vietnam vet from Texas. Texas in the house. Haven't been to Texas yet, but I heard they got some good barbecue. I don't know. I might be wrong. Patrick Kennedy says, I've been to Colorado. I can't read that. He said, I had Coke for the first time in Aspen. Kudos, man. Catherine, I moved to North Carolina to Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale, Arizona. Arizona is a beautiful place. All right. So again, shout out to the moderator. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. All right. Today, just to kind of recap what we got going on today. We are peeling back some deep, dark layers of government corruption, as always, except instead we're actually finding the truth. We just keep finding more bodies buried under classified files. First up, the JFK files. Yes, the JFK files were released yesterday, and apparently our own government assassinated a sitting U.S. president presumably for the YouTube purposes. And now that it's 2025, they finally decided to confirm it. Casually, just like it's another Tuesday. After decades of gaslighting, anyone who questioned the Warren Commission was seen as a conspiracy theorist. The files drop, and suddenly, turns out the CIA's fingerprints are all over it. Speaking of powerful people who mysteriously end up with targets on their back, Elon Musk saying the quiet part out loud. He literally says in an interview, they're basically trying to kill me because I'm trying to stop government waste, fraud, and abuse. If Elon Musk is worried about his safety, we got to start paying attention. The man is disrupting everything from AI, Tesla, space innovation, government spending. The deep state doesn't like that. And what happens next? A leak of Tesla owners' names, addresses, and phone numbers are leaked online. It's almost like Soros wants to intimidate people who support Musk. If that's not enough, the FBI is investigating Tesla vehicles being shot up and set on fire. Now, I don't know about you, but seems a little cray-cray from the left. The White House is saying that they're very bullish on the economy, which is awesome. Their economist just said that despite chatters about inflation, everything is going to be okay. Meanwhile, people are still shaking in their boots from the previous administration, the Biden administration. Trump also exposes Canada's endgame in a massive tell-all interview. And let's just say it's not looking good for former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. This guy's been cozying up with China for a very long time, pretending that he's totally been invested in democracy. Spoiler alert, Trump isn't having any of it. And while we're on the topic of people who shouldn't have power, we're going to jump into some Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is back in the news, providing a very entertaining piece where his CPU crashes mid-sentence like always. He failed to hear a question during a press conference, and everybody in the room pretended like it didn't happen. I mean, seriously, at this point, guys, this guy needs to get benched. JFK, Musk under attack, Tesla owners being doxxed, RFK making moves in the baby formula segment, Biden's living up to his fantasy economy, Trump's throwing shade on Canada, and Mitch McConnell is proving once again that just maybe, we need term limits.
Tesla. Going on now at the White House Tesla Auto Mall. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Very safe, it's very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel.
Come on down to Pennsylvania Avenue, just off Route 29, to get our best deal ever on a brand new Tesla.
I want to make a good deal here. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
Get a Model 1 with a different panel and everything's computer.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
So don't waste your time going to those other Tesla dealerships with riots and flaming cyber trucks. You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
I love Tesla.
You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
This is really amazing.
Tesla. I love Tesla. I can't get enough of that. Catherine says, did you see Hunter Biden's creepy video? That guy is a creep. That guy, he has a shady past. I did see it. I did see his video. It was weird. It was weird. My mind says, I wonder if they stop the fluoride in the water. I know they did in Utah. What is up, Robert? Robert in the house. Cindy in the house. Cindy Hunter says, Elon Musk is an American hero. Pray for his safety and his family. Amen to that. I was just having a conversation with somebody earlier today about Elon Musk. This guy's going to go down in history no matter what. He's going to go down in history no matter what. He's doing some great things for the economy. I'm going to jump into these comments before we get into the first segment, these JFK files. Elon should be on Elon should be on guard. No one knows how the left will protect their golden. No one knows how far they'll go, how far the left will go to protect their golden goose. Yep. Okay, Catherine says Hunter Biden is so cracked out and didn't say anything. I think he was mad that his Secret Service was gone. Yeah, it was a weird video. He was just filming himself, going outside. He's a weirdo. Tesla. I love Tesla. Missouri in the house. What's up, Anna? All right, we are jumping into some stuff that dropped yesterday. 8,000 pages of documents of the Kennedy assassination. Nothing new, right? We all openly knew what happened. Trump administration on Tuesday released thousands of pages of files concerning the assassination of JFK, the 35th president, who was shot dead in Dallas, Texas in 1963 in November. There were some documents mentioning Joe Biden. JFK wrote a handwritten letter to Joe Biden stating that Joe Biden was a traitor. That was a handwritten document. The documents include references to various conspiracy theories suggesting Oswald left the Soviet Union in 1962 and intended to assassinate the popular young president. The Department of Defense documents in 1963 uncovered the Cold War of the early 60s. I'll place a link for this in the description down below after this video. Trump signed an executive order on in his office in January for the release of these files. We finally got them. Nothing, I don't know if you guys read through them, but nothing crazy, right? I was skimming through them, nothing crazy. Patrick Kennedy says, I want a Tesla. I do too. These people are ridiculous. They're spitting on the Teslas. The one guy wiped his butt and like rubbed crap on a Tesla. Dude, I said this yesterday. I said it yesterday. If I catch somebody, I don't have a Tesla, but I don't have a Tesla yet, but if I caught somebody smearing some feces on my car or scratching it, they're going to get one, 100%. Patrick Kennedy says, Kennedy was a cool president. Yeah, absolutely. My mind, the left killed their own president. You don't think they'll go after Elon and Trump? Seems like history repeating itself. And you know, Trump openly said, he was like, good presidents get threatened and they get axed. That's a quote from YouTube. That is a quote from Donald Trump. That's not a quote from me. I would love Biden to be on the next season of Traitors. Oh, man. Newsmax did a recap of some of these articles. I haven't watched this. We'll check it out together. 80,000 pages. Excuse me. I said 8,000 pages. There's 80,000 pages of documents. Yes, praying for their safety. Yeah, we got to pray for the safety of our leaders of this country. 100%, Catherine. Bright Star says, I find it quite ironic that that folks that were backing Elon and electric cars, exactly. It's all the liberals. At one point, they were stoked about Elon, and now they're throwing dog feces and human feces on these vehicles and scratching them up and blowing them up. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. Also, smash the like button and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm.
Files. And what do you know? I mean, not too much new, but literally what everyone already knew, which the government, entrenched bureaucrats, and overeducated institutionalists called us conspiracy theorists for. Turns out to be true. And if you think it's crazy, look no further than Chuck Schumer. He basically said the quiet part out loud when Trump was pushing the same buttons Kennedy was years ago.
To take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
And I'm going to prove him right, because much of what was released we already knew. But to illustrate exactly why I don't trust the government, we're going to put it all in one place for you. with the old and the new info, because it's pretty crazy how so many things are connected. Let's take a walk down that rabbit hole, shall we? You ever heard of a guy named Gary Underhill? He was a former World War II military intel guy who then went on to work for the CIA, working for projects such as special assignments that were classified. Well, in 1964, the Warren Commission determined that Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated Kennedy and acted alone. Shortly after,
He didn't act alone. Little side note, I was fascinated with the JFK assassinations as a kid. I used to have a little CD-ROM. Those of you that remember old school computers used to have a CD-ROM. And it showed all these documents. It showed like the bullet penetrating 7 different areas, 1 bullet.
Underhill traveled from D.C. to New Jersey to confide in some friends, and according to newly unredacted report, what he said to those friends was, quote, he attributed the Kennedy murder to a CIA clique which was carrying on a lucrative racket in gun running, narcotics, and other contraband, and manipulating political intrigue to serve its own ends. Kennedy supposedly got wind that something was going on and was killed before he could blow the whistle on it. And wouldn't you know, 6 months later, Mr. Underhill was found dead, alone.
He died. He was a right-handed shooter. This is a little side note. He was a right-handed shooter. I don't know if they're going to reference this in this video, but he was a right-handed shooter, and he shot on the left-hand side, right behind his ear.
And had allegedly shot himself in the left side of his head, even though he was right-handed. It was ruled a suicide. Now, in my experience on this earth, people who have come forward with information that incriminates big people or organizations that end up dead, I mean, do you really believe they killed themselves? Like Jeffrey Epstein? Don't worry, I'll get to that in a sec. Now, lots of other factors raise eyebrows, but did you know that JFK's car route was also changed at the last minute? By who? The mayor, Earl Cabell, who was, at the time of the shooting, a current CIA asset, and his brother, Charles, had been a senior member at the CIA that had been forced to retire from the agency the year before by JFK. Why does this matter? Well, this goes on to why the CIA would have it out for JFK as well. You ever heard of an agency called the ICA, the International Cooperation Administration? Probably not. Why? Because they were disbanded. They were the agency that was disbanded after the Bay of Pigs disaster in April of 1961. Mentioned this before, where under JFK, the U.S. tried to invade Cuba during the Cold War using humanitarian and foreign aid as a front to gather intel for that invasion. That bad intel that was gathered landed assets in a swamp, compounded with the fact that Kennedy denied air support that doomed the entire operation. That tension between the intel community and JFK was only made worse when Kennedy famously said this failure that would, quote, he would splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds.
Wow.
And 5 months later, he closed that agency, the ICA, which was seen as an attempt to hamper unaccountable covert operations. Guess what agency he started in its place? A little-known agency that was supposed to be more accountable to the State Department. That agency was called USAID. You see, prior to this, multiple agencies were using foreign assistance under their own agency cover to cover up their operations. The State Department, the CIA, and tons of others, many using the ICA as cover while competing to see who could out-intel each other, often with massive overlaps, and there were tons of turf wars within our own agencies. USAID was supposed to be the answer to stream all the accountability on that through the State Department.
That didn't go so well.
It really had absolutely nothing to do with building wells in Africa. Trust me, it was a cover, okay? As a SEAL, I was in countries that we weren't at war with for humanitarian purposes too, okay? I know this. Which gets me to the convenience of Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, the reasoning of Oswald being the lone actor was that he had met with Cuban officials in Mexico City before and this whole assassination then happened. The official reports allege that it was carried out as retaliation related to the Bay of Pigs. But was it? We know that LBJ and Kennedy had beef, which led to a variety of other theories, including allegations that LBJ was in on it, with people citing multiple reports what appeared to be LBJ ducking prior to the first shot even being fired. And one of the first things LBJ did as the president after the assassination which raised even more concern, was to establish that Warren Commission I mentioned earlier to investigate it. And who led that? A little guy named Alan Dulles. Now, Alan Dulles had been the former CIA
LBJ's was behind it for sure.
director that JFK had fired. There were also significant policy 180s, like the reversal on Vietnam, where Kennedy's intent was to withdraw from Vietnam, and then LBJ, when he took over, accelerated the war. Now, almost all of this is not new, and much of it the CIA was happy to release at the time. But what we're finding out from these recent docs last night is that the CIA had one request. They had no oppositions to releasing most of this stuff years ago, but they did have one request for redactions: any mention of Israel or Israeli intelligence. Why? What were they doing? Were they involved in this? In fact, over a dozen incidences cited in the recent documents we got last night said that it was redacted from previously released documents. I don't have the answer to this, and these documents don't tell us. But this issue is part of the 1% that has been withheld all these years, which leads me to my already previous conclusion in general, that is, you can't trust the government for anything. By all accounts released, it appears that our own government assassinated the President of the United States, classified it, and then systematically leaked parts of the files over decades to the public, allowing for theories to be perpetuated for decades. Some of them were widely accepted as fact even. This type of campaign, that drip, drip, drip of information, that is a classic psyop that our intel community uses overseas to overthrow governments. Sometimes it's a method to desensitize people to the actual story when it does come out. That often confirms previous theories, and people don't even take it as a new revelation. Here we are.
This is why the Epstein files don't want to come out either.
In the first half of their shows, less than 24 hours after it has come out that the CIA apparently assassinated a president to change policy. So while this drop didn't tell me anything I didn't already suspect, it also conveniently held until, anyone was involved was dead, including the fact that the Secret Service agent that was assigned to JFK that day, the dude who jumped on the hood of that car, he conveniently died a month ago.
This is what I was talking about yesterday. This dude, 93 years old in good health, died a month ago.
Which did confirm one thing. Question the government. No. I don't care. You don't get to tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist anymore for anything. The onus is now on the government to give me the reason to trust them. Because beyond all this, the reckless spending, lying about foreign wars, forced vaccinations, currency manipulation, whatever, it's the same MO. If you dig past any headline on any matter, you get more questions than answers. I want to know about the Tesla that blew up in front of Trump Tower in Vegas. Why don't we know anything about that? I want to know about Thomas Matthew Crooks, the guy who shot at Trump. I want to know about Ryan Ruth and the Vegas shooter and Area 51. I want to know. No, actually, you know what? I deserve to know who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked children to. Was it the people running my government? We're owed those answers. Did he even kill himself?
No.
We are owed an answer on the $250 billion missing dollars from the Pentagon budget in the last audit. I deserve to know what you spent my Social Security contributions on. I demand to know whether or not there's any gold at all in Fort Knox, or how the CIA, via the Pakistani ISI, used Osama bin Laden as an intel asset for years, and then they let him fly planes into the Twin Towers, and then let him live in Pakistan 500 yards from their equivalent of a West Point when we killed him. Given my personal sacrifice in Iraq, I deserve to see the evidence of WMDs that we allegedly went to war for, that spent trillions of dollars and killed thousands of American troops. I want to know why they tried to force us to get vaccinated, why so many of them affiliated with making the decisions about COVID didn't practice any of the precautions that they mandated on us. I want to know everything. And I have the right to ask or demand, because this government works for us and they've forgotten that.
The Israel situation is one of the main reasons why they don't want to release. I'm assuming why they don't want to release the Epstein files. There was nothing crazy revolutionary in these files, aside from that fact with the Israel connection, the CIA connection, confirming all the conspiracies out there that have been going on for decades. These are things that we already knew. Stephanie says, a conspiracy is only a conspiracy until proven facts. Ain't that the truth? She also says, mentioning the CD-ROMs that I mentioned, that I would watch this assassination on those type of computers is where we used LimeWire. You guys remember LimeWire? I was slanging CDs, burning CDs, getting viruses all on my computer. LimeWire and Napster. Napster was the other one. Jesus is King. What is up? Glad you made it to the chat. Shout out to Jesus is King. Catherine says, I love this guy from Newsmax. Yes, yes, yes. My mind says CIA should be disbanded. I agree. Jesus King says, Tyson's chat is the nicest chat. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. It's all shout out to the moderators and you guys. You guys make the chat awesome. You guys make the chat. Without you guys, there would be no chat. My mind, USAID is a scam, and we already know. We already know that it's a scam, right? My mind. Stephanie says, Stephanie writes, I found it interesting, but the Cuba thing, hold on. Someone saying it was going to happen. Yep. Texas and MLK later with someone in jail. Yes, those were the released documents. Somebody, I don't remember who it was. It was a person that had some broken English and said that a person in jail is going to axe MLK later on within the year. And it happened. What is up, Simply Serene? Hope you're doing amazing. Simply Serene in the house. July 13th. I want to know. Yep. I want to know that. I want to know the Las Vegas shooting situation. Thomas Crooks, you don't hear about in the news anymore. The Roth character, you don't hear about anymore. Thomas Crook, they wiped his stuff clean. They wiped everything, and they cremated the body quickly. With the Las Vegas shooting, it was one of the mass shootings, one of the largest mass shootings in United States history. And it was like a week later, they already re-asphalted. Prior to the investigation being completed, they re-asphalted that area. It's crazy. Stephanie says, the guy who found the magic bullet said they pulled it out of a leg and it's 7 areas it hit in pristine condition. Exactly. And if you re-watch the video of Kennedy, the explosion kind of comes from the back of the head. So that would mean that somebody shot from the front. And it's interesting also, the quick autopsy reports, and then they reinvestigated it, and then coincidentally, portions of his brain was missing. So nothing crazy. Tyson question. I've been laying low since work did. They release the other 3K pages today. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't see that right before I jumped on the live, Steph. Jesus King said it took forever. It did. And that's their tactic, is to trickle. It's like giving a little baby some cupcake crumbs. Oh, this is good. Oh, this will satisfy them for 20 years. Oh, this will satisfy them for 10 years. The fact that the government built this conspiracy to kill RFK to send a message to people running for president because they could have poison on him. They wanted to send a message. That's what Catherine writes. Yeah, the Las Vegas shooting was horrible. Three shots from three different guns were fired. Sources, acoustic forensics, 2 different bullets hit JFK. Debatable, but probably factual. The autopsy was done illegally, violating legal policies. Shout out to Russell for that. Shout out to Hustler forever. What's up? What is up? Thanks for the super chat. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Where's my cheers at? Here it is. Boom. Super chat. He says, hi, Tyson. Hi, chat. Tyson, what rabbit you talking about, bro? These rabbit holes are worse than Hamas tunnels. Hey, man, I know. They give you everything, but nothing is resolved. They give you everything and nothing is resolved, man. It's crazy that the 93-year-old guy, perfect health, all of a sudden dies, and then they're able to release, the documents. There's books that say that the shooters was SS Secret Service agent behind JFK in the car behind him. Interesting. It's crazy. It's a rabbit hole. We can go down these rabbit holes and then they lead to nothing. I think I shared this on a live before. My buddy was doing, he did a documentary. It was on Hulu. I don't know if it's on Hulu anymore. It was called The Money Machine. It was about the Las Vegas shooting. And he did this year-long investigation regarding the Las Vegas shooting, came up with a lot of details, and it kind of just led to nowhere, no actual resolve. I actually called him about this, and he's working on another project, which will be awesome, about the Oklahoma City bomber. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. Smash the like button if you kindly would. It does help with the YouTube algorithms. Elon Musk, man. We got to pray for Elon Musk. This guy is doing everything for this country, and people are treating him and his companies like crap. This dude just rescued astronauts in space, and they're still wiping feces on Teslas. Come on, man. Trump ally, Department of Government Efficiency leader Elon Musk recently stated that my life may be in danger due to exposing mass amounts of waste, fraud, and abuse. This is what he said on Hannity.
Countries. You're working on helping the blind see and all of these other things. Is it really come down to the basic, you're aligned with President Donald Trump, who also is a friend of mine, and that you have identified well over $100 billion in waste, fraud, abuse that our federal government never should have been spending? Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, it turns out when you take away.
Shout out to Serena Schrantz for the $10 super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate you. I was grabbing a sip of water, so thank you. Where's my cheers at? Shout out to the super chat. Thank you.
People's, what the money they're receiving fraudulently, they get very upset, and they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud, and they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government. And I guess they're bad people. Bad people will do bad things.
Crazy people do bad things too.
Overall, financially, in the end, yes, they can hurt you, but the people that they'll end up hurting are the people that work in your dealerships that may risk losing their job. The people that they may end up hurting are the people that work on the line and build the Teslas. They're going to be the ones hurt. And that to me is despicable on their part, just because they might have a political difference or perceived political difference.
I wonder if Donald Trump was like, listen, man, if you're going to do this with me, you're going to receive a lot of prosecution from the media, from people. They're going to get you. They're going to come after you. I'm sure that they had that conversation because Donald Trump and his team they're very intelligent. And I'm sure Elon knew what he was getting into, but I don't think that he would have thought that they would be vandalizing these Tesla dealerships. And that incident yesterday in Las Vegas, I found out that wasn't that was the dealership, but also they set fire on personal property, people's personal property, because that was like their repair center that they set fire to. Hustler Forever says, I was thinking about downloading all the JFK documents and uploading to AI and find the shooter. That's a lot of pages, man. Let me know. Maybe we can tackle it together because it's a lot of pages. I was thinking the same thing. But it's a lot of documents, and they're individually bunched up. My mind says, I want to meet one person who's over 300 years old from Social Security. Exactly. Oh, how can you hate this guy? This guy's getting people from space. He's doing a lot. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy for gifting 5 memberships. Patrick Kennedy in the house gifted 5 memberships. Let's get the clap going. Let's go. Patrick Kennedy in the house. Oh, by the way, we hosted, for the first time, we hosted a movie night in the Discord group. If you're not part of the Discord group, you can jump into that in the link down below. So shout out to Patrick Kennedy for that. We watched How They Live. Is that correct? How They Live, 1988 film. Rowdy Piper. First time I watched it, it was a good movie. It actually talks about this stuff that's going on right now. Catherine says, they don't care who they hurt for their agenda. Elon said about his son too, awful. Yeah. Yep, it's crazy. Saving lives, helping people who lost everything in North Carolina. Yep, giving Starlink to people. It's interesting. There was a clip I shared. They Live. Thank you, my mind. They Live. The movie is called They Live, 1988. Rowdy Piper. Good movie. Great movie, actually. Never seen it. It was the first time I saw it during the movie night. Awesome movie. Where was I going with this? I don't remember. I lost my train of thought. I had a Biden moment. Sorry, guys. I don't remember where I was. All right. So Elon, I don't know if this is gonna get censored or whatever, but he jumped on with Ted Cruz. I'm gonna jump around on this. Let's see. Here we go. Russell says we are literally a third world estate without Elon Musk helping Trump save free speech, NASA, yep, all that, auto industry, Tesla, yep.
For improvement in federal government expenditures because it's so bad. If there was a well-run ship, it would be very difficult to improve.
So,
but you know, so now it's like if people say, well, how do we figure out how to save money in the federal government? Well, it's like being in a room where the walls, the roof, and the floor are all targets. So you shoot in any direction,
and
you can't miss.
Wow.
Again, I'm sure you would agree.
So a lot of folks have talked about like
you can't miss.
You can't miss.
Yeah, just go in any direction.
A lot of the crazy expenditures thing
is 20% fraud, but you do have these sort of gray areas.
Yep.
So, Example would be, we saw a lot of payments going out of Treasury that had no payment code and no explanation for the payment. And then we'd try to figure out what that payment is, and we'd see that, okay, that contract was supposed to be shut off, but someone forgot to shut off that contract, and so the company kept getting money.
Wow.
Now, is that waste or fraud?
Yeah, both.
Both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, both.
It's sort of
If
a
you
gray
know you're
area
getting something
because
you're not supposed to get.
you're not supposed to get it, but the government sent it to you, and nobody from the government asked for it back. Take, for example, the $1.9 billion given to Stacey Abrams,
Yeah.
a fake NGO.
Utter insanity.
Explain that. Forget it. Don't know the story.
That's corrupt. That's just corrupt, I think. That's paying off cronies at that point.
1,000%.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, she knew. Like when you get $2 billion, you don't miss that. That's
It's
not
not an accident.
That's not.
Allegedly, it was for environmentally friendly appliances
Yeah.
or something, and they've given like
this is it
100
right here.
appliances. So.
Until you brought that up.
Okay, so you may think that that the government computers all talk to each other, they synchronize, they add up what funds are going somewhere, and it's it's coherent. There's and that the numbers, for example, that you're presented as a senator,
Yeah.
are actually the real numbers.
One would think.
One would think they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy to me. The,
I mean,
the
that's-
same thing happens with the medical system. The medical systems aren't coincided and linked together. That's why they had that huge prescription situation when the opioids were going on. People, some doctors got caught giving prescription pads to people, and then they would go from pharmacy to pharmacy to pharmacy to pharmacy. Each pharmacy has their individual used to have their individual systems, and people could get these scripts, the opioid scripts and things like that. And same thing with the airlines. If you notice, when you miss a flight, you got to go back to the front, and then they just access all the different airlines. And a lot of times you got to rebook on the particular airline if you don't have an app like Expedia or something like that. So it's nuts to me that none of these computers work coherently together.
Not totally wrong, but they're probably off by 5% or 10% in some cases. So I call a magic money computer any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
And that's what we've been doing. We've been making magic money. I'm going to place the full link for this down below after I'm done with this live. But I probably watched about a quarter of this the way through. Let me jump into the chats real quick. There was something. Oh, yeah. Catherine says, now stopping our country from bankruptcy. Yep. Bobby says, I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. I saw this. That's from the movie, They Live. And when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, man, that's where the quote came from. Because there's this, they asked grandmas to say that same situation, and that was hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. Did you guys see that clip? I can bring that clip up. Hold on. I know it's a little tangent, but. Let me see. This one right here.
Things: hand out hard candy and blow some motherfucking dicks off. And I'm all out of hard candy.
I came here for two things: to suck some hard candy and suck some dicks. What was the line? I came here to do two things, and what are they?
Hand out hard candy.
Oh, hand out hard candy.
And blow some fucking dicks
off.
I'm sorry for the kids if they're watching. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just had to. Hustler Forever. Did you see did you see Tampon Tim's podcast with Gavin Newsom? Yeah, I did. Gavin Newsom and Timmy Tampon Walls on the same podcast. Oh man. Listening from Southern Illinois. Oh, yeah, I know. But that was Nancy Pelosi auditions. So there, after all this, with the Tesla situation, with everything going on, they created this app to leak user information. It's crazy. Let me pull this up. I don't know if I can. Hold on, let me see. Here we go. So apparently a website called DogeQuest posted a searchable map, what it claims to be names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses of Tesla owners across the United States. This is an act. I think this is an act of terrorism. I think it's an act. It's definitely disrupting our general peace for the public, for sure. But to have an interactive map of users that to show where people live, it's very similar to this whole situation with the swatting. People are calling influencers and newscasters and saying that they're calling the police and saying that somebody they heard gunshots, and then the police are arriving at their house, and it's crazy. Or people are ordering 20, 30 pizzas and delivering it to people's houses. The left is going insane. This is where I was going with it. It came back to me. Come on, man. The hatred for Trump, the hatred for Donald Trump is so high that they cannot see the forest for the trees. Elon is potentially reducing our personal tax bills. He's saying that if you make $150K, if you make under $150K a year, you don't have to pay taxes. He's looking to distribute $5,000 from the cost savings to individuals. But people don't see that. This dude's saving people from space that Biden left up there for 9 months, 10 months, whatever the scenario is. And they're not thinking right. They're crazy to me. These people are crazy. Russell says, I partially got swatted. Oh, crap, man. They said I stole something, which they planted at my door, and I did not take possession of it. It was a pizza. Then the cops showed up. That is crazy. That's crazy, man. I'm glad you're okay. Catherine says, it's 100%, it's terrorism, 100. People are scared to drive. Now they're going to worry at home. Nobody should be worrying about driving a particular car. And then Timmy Tampon Wall says, I don't know what he was doing. He was doing like a stand-up situation, saying that he downloaded a stock app just to see Tesla stocks fall. What a goon. Pizzagate 2.0, bro. Milwaukee Zeus. Yeah, that Russell says, thanks. It freaked me out. Cops acted all hot-headed too. I have less respect for them. That's crazy. It's crazy to me. Here's a little bit more of this Elon situation. Let me just jump into this. CNN had some good stuff to say. Normally they don't. Ozzy Greg, shout out for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Truly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where's my clapper? Here we go. Shout out to the super chat. He says, love your work, Tyson. Thank you. And you know what? Everybody, look at Ozzy Greg's profile picture. Classic. Thank you so much. Every time I see you in the chat, I love the profile pic.
Look, will be consistent on this. I don't think vandalism, I don't think violence is what you do to make your point. I've said that around January 6th. I've said it around protests, and I'll say it here. Do I agree what Elon Musk is doing with Doge? No. But what I would encourage people, and I don't even know if the folks who are doing the vandalism are actual Democrats or Republicans, but they're people who want to destroy our democracy as well. This is what I will tell folks. In moments like this, if you are so enraged that you want to act on something, you have a representative, you have a senator in Congress that doesn't have to be there any longer. You should go tell them that you are disgusted, to Shermichael's point, that you don't like that they are not taking their congressional responsibility to heart and challenging the president and say, let us pass this law, let us repeal back this funding. But taking it with vandalism, don't agree with it, don't associate it with it. It shouldn't be a part of the Democratic brand. It shouldn't be part of the Republican brand. It's not an American brand.
That's the first intelligent thing aside from Scott Jennings that I have heard from CNN. Homegirl, you got it right.
So doubtful it's Republicans attacking Tesla dealerships around the country. It's pretty wild, actually. The other night, Donald Trump said these are domestic terrorists. Everybody laughed about it and scoffed at it. That video looks like terrorism to me. I mean, it's obviously an organized, coordinated effort, however people are communicating with each other, to do this to people around the country who chose to buy a Tesla at some point in the past, many of whom I'm sure are Democrats who bought them in the first place, all because their entire political worldview is ruled by their emotions. And that's the American left right now. It is one angry mob after another willing to take things into their own hands, up to and including keying, firebombing, and otherwise vandalizing cars and car dealerships and charging stations. It's outrageous. It is terrorism. People ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson.
So when they
Why'd she make that sour face?
do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them.
Listen, lady, we already know that FBI agents were colluding in that situation, okay? It's not the same thing. And listen, after thinking about this just a little bit, if it is, which presumably Elon said that it is, and I'm just taking it for face value based on what everybody is saying. If these are Soros-backed, organized protesting groups just like BLM, they push this narrative out. They know that the stock is going to dip. Catherine says people must have bought at the dip because the stock went up 5%. Think about this. They're pushing this narrative. The stock dips. Who do you think benefits both ways? A person like Nancy Pelosi pushing this type of narrative. The Soroses of the world pushing this type of narrative. The stock goes down, they buy the stock. They know that the stock is going to go up eventually. They know Elon's stock. They know Tesla stock. So they're winning both ways. This is what came to mind when I was watching this.
Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
Are
support.
we okay with the January 6th protests?
I know you haven't been around for a while, so let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Patrick Kennedy for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Where's my claps at? Here we go. Here we go. Shout out to you, Patrick Kennedy. He says, if you were going to ask people with guns to show up at someone else's house, you should be accepting to people with guns showing up at your house. Exactly. I'm telling you, if I had a test and somebody scratched my stuff, they're boy, they're getting whooped down. I don't. There's no other way to put it. Patrick Kennedy with another super chat. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy for a super chat. Thank you so much for a super chat and support. Said, I would prefer no one show up to my house. Yeah, absolutely. Especially random pizzas. Ozzy Gregg says, I agree, Tyson. Why is that libtard smiling? She has a sour face. She's dusty, man. The cop was trying to get inside my place to investigate drugs. I know because he said my face had marks. Just got out of the shower. Wow. They were trying to get into Russell's house. That's crazy. You ain't getting in my house without a warrant.
Let me educate you. No, you don't need to. You don't need to be condescending to me. So let me educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let's do this January 6th and then near it.
I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
He wanted to say another word there.
Stop, guys.
So here's the issue. I didn't support what happened on January the 6th and was one of the first Republicans to call it out. I don't support the pardons. I have repeatedly, just like my friend Ashley here, said that no violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it. It's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition from Elon Musk.
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
Both sides here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that people are legitimately upset. They're legitimately upset at Elon Musk, and they're doing it on their own, but there is no reason to have violence in the country. But I just wish all of us would support criticism of, or would support punishing people who are violent wherever they are.
These people are getting prosecuted. You know, they're honestly, they're pretty dumb to vandalize Tesla and vehicles. Don't they know that a lot of these vehicles have a crap ton of cameras around them? People have already, if you go on X, you can clearly see their faces wiping feces on cars, scratching cars, and doing all this other stuff. The one guy got arrested today, and he was like an investment banker going to the gym, and he keyed a Cybertruck. Bro. Yeah, J6 was absolutely entrapment. And we have the video of cops waving them in. Exactly. That shouldn't even be an argument anymore. But they have no more talking points. So they say January 6th was the worst thing since Afghanistan. Oh, since World War II. It was the worst thing, January 6th. Oh, no. FBI agents were waving people in. They were giving tours. Yeah, Mary said it for him right there in the chat. Yep. Maria, excuse me. January 6th, oh my gosh. It was the worst thing ever. AOC, I was frightened for my life. That's what AOC said. I was frightened for my life. I thought I was going to get murdered or aped. She was like 6 miles away. Oh, man. Big back Bobby Kennedy releases a new plan for baby formula. Don't forget to smash the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithms. Really appreciate you guys. Oh, man. Yeah, cameras are everywhere on the Tesla. That's what Patrick Kennedy, cameras are everywhere on this Tesla. So Big Back Bobby Kennedy releases a new plan for baby formula. All right, Bobby, what we got? HHS announced on Tuesday about infant formula directs to FDA to take additional steps to ensure ongoing quality, safety, nutritional adequacy, and resilience for domestic infant formula supply, according to this new release here. FDA has begun a nutritional review process for infant formula. I'm not sure what infant formula is made out of, but it's decent. I'm glad he's checking into everything. We're gonna have clean cabinets, guys. You'll be able to eat your Doritos without the red dye in it, without the insect red dye. Yeah, Russell says, I'm buying a Tesla ASAP. It makes me want to get one too. It makes me want to get one too.
Well, this is a story we have been all over from the very beginning, when a baby formula shortage gripped families across the country 3 years ago. And now HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is announcing what he's calling Operation Stork Speed. It's a plan, he says, that will create better oversight into America's baby formula industry, from expanding product options to increasing testing on what's already on the shelves. And it comes on the heels of a consumer report finding dangerous levels of lead, arsenic, and forever chemicals in at least half of the 41 brands tested. It's a shocking find after deadly bacteria at a manufacturing plant caused that 2022 formula shortage, which left shelves empty for months. So let's bring in Dr. Diane Hess, who is a board-certified pediatrician and joins me live. Dr. Hess, thank you so much for your time today. First of all, what are your thoughts about this new program, especially considering that major shortage we saw 3 years ago?
I welcome it. You know, there hasn't been legislation on baby formula since 1980. So I think transparency is going to be great. And I think that, we want this, the formula that we're feeding our patients, our babies, our families, we want it regulated, and we want transparency. We want to know what's in these formulas that we're giving the kids.
Absolutely. So Dr. Hess, this program includes testing of formulas, of reviewing nutrients. Ultimately, do you think we will see any sort of big changes when it comes to formulas?
I do. I mean, there hasn't been regulations for these heavy metals.
I can't believe it. She said lead and forever chemicals. 97% of us anyways in the United States have forever chemicals in us. Simply because the invention of Teflon. You guys remember Teflon? Teflon, non-stick surface, originally made for tanks. They're great for cooking.
U.S. actually has no standards for heavy metals in infant formulas, so the U.S. companies actually follow other countries' regulations. So I think we need our own set of guidelines.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that they were putting stuff in it. Baby formula is 42% alcohol. What the heck? That's crazy. Bright Star said something about vegetable oil is in the soy and vegetable oil. Soy and vegetable oils in the in this baby formula. Tyson, Stephanie says, did you see Gutfeld tell the guy, "What's up, my Nazi"? No, I didn't. Oh, I didn't. Patrick Henderson says, I know nothing about formula, no kids yet. Nobody will mate with me yet. Keep your head up, man. Keep your head up. You're going to find a mate. Russell says, I live in a new apartment. They have 2 charging stations in my building. That's awesome. Time to get a Tesla. Time to get a Tesla. Oh, 42% alcohol. That's wild. I know some lady. I was talking to my buddy. I was talking to my buddy, and he said that they bought breast milk. They bought unvaxxed breast milk because they're unvaxxed. As parents, they're unvaxxed as well, and they bought breast milk from like the gray market, black market unvaxxed breast milk. Guess it's a hot commodity. I don't know. Oh man. I don't know if I'm gonna share this, but breast milk is good for styes and scabs and stuff like that. Just throwing it out there. You got sound? We good with the sound? My mind says no sound. Check, check. Yeah, I think I got sound. Okay. Okay, cool. Sorry if it cut out. All right, here's the economist situation regarding Donald Trump. The White House said, hey, we're very bullish on the market. So I'm with it. I'm ready to see the economy thrive.
President Trump vowing no exemptions to the 25% steel and aluminum tariff, saying that more could be coming on those metals and on autos. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent joined me yesterday on this program, saying that the tariffs could ultimately stack up.
What's going to happen on April 2nd, each country will receive a number that we believe that represents their tariffs. So for some countries, it could be quite low. For some countries, it could be quite high. So there's not an automatic 25 plus 25 that's going to happen.
Are these stacked tariffs when it comes to aluminum and steel? In other words, if you've got 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel, and then you've got reciprocal tariffs coming, is that going to be stacked on top of the 25% aluminum and steel?
I will have a better sense as we get closer to April 2nd. So they could be stacked, but look, a lot of countries don't produce steel or aluminum. And again, Maria, what I can tell you is going into April 2nd, some of our worst trading partners in terms of the way they treat us have already come to President Trump offering to substantial decreases.
Decreases. Joining me now is White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. Kevin, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
I want to get your take on your priorities, Kevin, but earlier in the week, you warned that there could be some uncertainty coming as related to the tariffs that are coming on April 2nd. What are you expecting in terms of this April 2nd reciprocal tariff deadline?
It was actually a little bit, for me, a classic example of mainstream media overreaction to simple statements. What happened was I was on a neighboring show, and I said that in April 2nd, the president's going to announce his tariffs. And between now and then, of course, you'll be uncertain about what's going to happen because he's going to tell you on April 2nd. We're very clear about that. And then there was a headline that all of a sudden White House warns about heightened uncertainty. But it was just a statement that on April 2nd, we're going to reveal everything. And I can tell you that yesterday, Scott Bessent and Secretary Rutnick and I and a few others, we were in Howard's office working on this so that there's going to be a very, very clear, detailed, easy to understand plan for reciprocal tariffs that will be revealed to everybody on April 2nd. The other thing I can say is that what the Secretary of Treasury said is really true, that countries are coming to us and saying, hey, you know, we've been acting pretty rough on you guys, but let's concede this, let's concede that.
Canada's one of them. Canada's like, no, listen, we got to work this out. Because USA, America, can shut half of Canada down quick. We produce a lot of natural gas. Natural gas and resources. Canada was like, we're going to cut off electric. Go ahead, bro. We'll cut you off. Patrick Ennis says, let's go America manufacturing. Absolutely. Let's bring back America manufacturing again. I think this is, honestly, next 4 years, another industrial revolution in regards of bringing back America manufacturing, American AI innovation. It's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah, she doesn't understand the bargaining tool. It's the art of the deal. He's like, listen, we're going to take this away. We're going to tariff you 50%. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What, you know, Canada doesn't really bring in a lot of stuff. Maple syrup. I haven't watched this interview with Ingram. Probably only watch a couple minutes of this, but I'll place a link for this in the description below if you guys want to check it out after this. But
President Trump in the diplomatic room at the White House, we talked Doge, China, illegal immigration. He even told us what, and it was a fairly optimistic take. Vladimir Putin agreed to a ceasefire immediately on energy and infrastructure, but not to a 30-day ceasefire. Tell us what happened.
Well, you have a...
Hold on. Catherine says Canada is threatening Corn Hub. I heard about this. So, there's other resources, right?
Situation, we have a lot of guns pointing at each other foolishly because it would have never happened if I were president. That was not a war that was supposed to happen, and it did happen. So that's where we are. And right now, you have a lot of guns pointing at each other, and a ceasefire without going a little bit further would have been tough. Russia has the advantage, as you know. They have encircled about 2,500 soldiers. They are nicely encircled, and that's not good. And we want to get it over with. Look, we're doing this. There are no Americans involved. There could be if you end up in World War III over this, which is so ridiculous. But, strange things happen. And I think we had a great call. It lasted almost 2 hours. Talked about a lot of things and toward getting it to peace. And we talked about other things also.
Was there non-negotiables mentioned by Putin? It was reported that I think the Kremlin media actually stated that he demanded an immediate cessation of aid to Ukraine in order to get to this multi-step deal.
No, he didn't. We didn't talk about aid. Actually, we didn't talk about aid at all. We talked about a lot of things, but aid was never discussed.
In the readout, it also stated that both sides want to get to an improved bilateral relationship, the United States and Russia.
That's true.
How can we trust that Vladimir Putin actually wants that, in that he's not also being influenced at the same time by his close friend, President Xi of China?
Well, look, we have our own discussions with President Xi of China, and he wants to get along also, and he's looking to get along, and we're looking to get along with him, and we will. We have a problem of trade where we have a very big imbalance with China. With Russia, we don't have that much trade, and they'd like to, and we'd like to also. They have some very valuable things for us, including very big forms of rare earth. They have a lot of earth. They have a big chunk of real estate, actually the biggest in the world for a country by far. And on that, they have things that we could use, frankly, and that other people could use. I think that President Xi would like to get along, and I think Russia wants to get along with the United States. I also think we're a much different country than we were just a few months ago. We're a country that's now respected. We were not respected. We were being laughed at. We had incompetent leadership. This was a war, as an example, that would have never happened if I were president.
Is part of your desire to forge this new relationship with Russia also impacted by Russia's closer relationship since you left office in 2021 with China? Because I think you talked about before the desire to box out China from that part of the world and have a closer relationship with Russia.
So as a student of history, which I am, and I've watched it all, the first thing you learn is you don't want Russia and China to get together. With that being said, no, it's not a big part of it, but maybe that'll happen or maybe it won't. Obama really forced them together through energy and bad energy policies. And
that's how China's all up in Africa right now.
He did so many different things. He forced a marriage which would never have taken place. It was not a natural. And for one reason, Russia has tremendous land, a lot of land, and China doesn't have enough land. Russia has a much smaller population than China. And it's sort of it was always a natural enemy situation. They're probably friendly now, but we're going to be friendly with both. I think we're going to be friendly with both. China needs us in terms of trade very badly, but we have to straighten out the deficit. We have now more than $1 trillion deficit with China. It's not even believable. And we're going to be doing something about that. And with Russia, they would like to have some of our economic power.
The criticism that you've heard since really 2015 is that you have more in common with Vladimir Putin than you do with globalist leaders, maybe some NATO leaders, and in this case, with Zelensky. You're both nationalists. Zelensky's more of a globalist. How do you respond to that criticism?
Well, I am a nationalist, but I'm a nationalist for the United States, not for anybody else. And it's interesting because there's nobody been tougher on Russia than me. I'm the one that pointed out Nord Stream 2, and I stopped it. Nord Stream is the biggest pipeline, I guess, in the world, taking care of all of Europe. And it was being built from before I got there. And somehow they were on the way. It was going to be, and I stopped it. It was just stone cold dead. I stopped it in its tracks. That's not somebody that's being particularly, it was the biggest project they ever had. I had it stopped. When Biden got in, he immediately approved it, like immediately. One of the first things he did in office was he approved Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2 until I was president. I said, what are you doing? You mean you're building a pipeline to Germany and various places in Europe. You're paying them billions of dollars a month, and then we're paying a lot of money to fight them. This is not going to work out well. And it stopped, and then Biden approved it, which was a really stupid thing to do, but he did it.
Crazy. I'll place a link for this full interview in the description down below if you guys want to check it out. There was one more thing. The rogue judge. No. Oh, no. Stranded astronauts. Oh, here it is, right here.
We have a lot of lumber. We freed it up, as you know, last week. We're freeing it up so that you can actually cut down a tree without being, given the death penalty. Because what these radical environmentalists have done to our country, but we freed it up. But we don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything. We certainly don't want their automobiles. They make a lot of, millions of automobiles are sent in. I'd rather.
We don't want their corn hub. We don't want their maple syrup. We don't want none of that. Russell says, MI6 agent went after Trump fabricating the Russia collusion story. If you follow the money, the funding came from Russia to attack Trump through the Clinton Foundation. True. Hunter Biden received $3.5 million from Russia, and he also received money from Ukraine. We all know who the big guy is. That's what Russell says here. Shout out to Russell for that. Thank you. Thank you. USAID also paid Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Oh, man. People got rich during the Biden administration. People got rich. Maria says it took Biden 4 years to F it up. It will correct itself. Trust the process. Amen to that. Hustler says, man, I've been waiting all day for all these lunatics to turn around and start attacking the other way around course. They ain't winning without actually proposing any solutions. Exactly. They just want to demonstrate that they don't like things and they want to destroy personal property. What's up, Gina W? Thanks for rocking. My mind, we should talk about Snow White ticket sales tomorrow. Snow White? I heard man, I heard they're getting so much, Disney is getting so much backlash from Snow White. Man, yeah, I don't think their ticket sales are going to do very good tomorrow. You guys going to be watching Snow White? I'm not, but shutdown is bad. A few moments later, we're shutting down. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not watching Snow White. I like the original. I keep it original with the original Snow White. I'm a old school Disney classic guy before they got all woke. Disney and Marvel got all woke. It's crazy. They brought back a good show. This is a tangent. They brought back a good show, Daredevil. Fantastic show on Netflix. It was before the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Disney acquisition and all this other stuff. They brought it back and their ratings aren't that good. But that's because they've been putting out woke bull crap for, 6 years, 7 years? They've just been putting out woke crap. It sucks. The weird actress and her face, LOL, Jesus is king. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. What's up, Alex? Before we jump into the next story, I got some questions in the chat, so I want to answer them real quick. Hustler Forever says, what do you think about the new Captain America? I watched it. It was okay. It was okay. It was woke. It was woke. To me, it was basically like a Hulk sequel. This is just my personal opinion. And especially after Anthony Mackie came back, or when he was promoting it, he was saying like, America's not America anymore, yada, yada, yada. He was spewing crap. And again, I'm a classic guy. I like Steve Rogers as Captain America. I think they picked Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie is a black actor, and I think they picked Anthony Mackie to be the next Captain America because DEI. My personal opinion. I think Winter Soldier would have been a better Captain America. Just what I'm saying. Sorry, went on a tangent here. Disney did have a few good ones before they went nuts. They did. And they ruined it. I actually like the new Netflix Daredevil show. I like it. It's good. They had some good stuff, and then they went on all this DEI stuff and Captain Marvel and all these characters that nobody really cares about, but we want to milk the box office and all. Gosh. When I want to watch a movie, I don't want to see woke stuff. That's just me. Thank you, Gina. She says, love your show, sir. Thank you. Kudos to that. Thank you, Gina. Gina W.Y. Sorry, I went on a tangent about Captain America. At least pick a black guy with 4% body fat to match the old guy. Exactly, man. Yeah. That's what Alex wrote. They didn't pick. He wasn't ripped. He wasn't nothing. He wasn't no Captain America to me. Anyways, we're going to jump in. Hulk. Hustler says Hulk is an iconic character, and it was an experiment gone wrong. Not by slowly ingesting those materials. Yep. Yeah. Steve says the new Captain America, 100% DEI. They messed it up. I did like the Red Hulk, though. I'm going to be transparent. I watched the video. I was doing my taxes, so I missed a lot. But then I just fast forwarded to the fight scenes because the story just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to me. What's up, Ricardo? Remember the Incredible Gay Duo cartoon? Yes, I do, from SNL. Too bad they don't have the Hulk rights, because I'd love to see a Hulk movie, a legit Hulk movie. Just like they finally did a legit Wolverine movie. I used to love comic books when I was a kid, by the way. Mitch McConnell, speaking of comic book characters, Mitch McConnell. Golly, talk about term limits. Mitch McConnell sparks more alarms about his health after failing to hear a question during a press conference. Look at this guy. Turtle. An incident earlier this week has raised some more concerns regarding Senator Mitch McConnell, Rhino, about his health. He sat down with business leaders to answer some questions, and he couldn't hear a thing They asked him a question, and here was his response.
Here in Kentucky, or talk to him about it being a bad policy at all?
My hearing is not what it used to be.
Tariffs, Senator. Your comment is about tariffs. Tariffs. Comment about tariffs.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan of tariffs. I hope it works.
This is elderly abuse. Get this man an Ensure and a diaper. Get him in an Ensure, get him an Ensure and a diaper and a walker. This is elderly abuse, guys. This guy needs to get out of here. Term limits. He did have a positive vote, so I give him kudos for that. But this is ridiculous. She should have said something wild, like, they're asking about spaghetti. And see what he says. Anyways. Oh, man. Let me switch this banner out here. Boom. All right, I'm gonna go into the chat. Make sure. Patrick Kennedy says, "Turtle man, turtle, yeah." Patrick Kennedy, you do taxes, gay. Where's my? Here we go.
Gay.
Yeah, I do do my taxes. Gina W says, press the like button. Yeah, smash the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithms. Definitely appreciate you guys. Jesus is king. I still love comic books. I have an abundance of comic books at my mom's house that I told her that I was going to pick up when I moved out a long time ago. And I never picked them up. She just stores them for me. Old Spider-Man. Spider-Man's OG for me. I like Spider-Man. Hustler Forever said, bro, the Red Hulk low-key was cool. Yeah. Super cool transformation. If you guys, it was a super cool transition from Harrison Ford to the Red Hulk. Really cool. We don't need Canada crap. We don't need them. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the thing is, America can shut half of Canada down. They could shut them down today. And they know that. They know that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's go. Yeah. Stephanie says, I thought he resigned. People were voting for him. For God's sakes. Call ASAP. This is elderly abuse. Yeah. Yeah. This is. Nancy Pelosi. Dude, elderly abuse there too. But she's still spunky. Nancy Pelosi's still spunky. Superhero, the amazing turtle man, dude. Oh. Let me run through these chats. My superhero was the Bionic Woman. That was a good show too. I forgot about that. When she's running slow. Catherine says, I can draw comic book characters. That's awesome. I'd love to know what your median is. Is it pen and ink, pencil, color pencil, graphite? I'd love to know. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this down. So I originally went to school for fine art. And I changed my major probably about 2 years in because they were focusing on computers. Okay, they said, "Oh, we're going to do more illustrations and designs on computers." So that's awesome, Catherine, that you're doing comic book art. And I wasn't interested in computers, and now I spend most of the day on the computers. Let me see. Hold on. This is actually one of my art pieces. Here we go. Boom. This is a, I don't know if you could see it. There we go. This is a graphite, powdered graphite, some color pencil, some charcoal in that. It's Walter White from Breaking Bad. I'd love to see some art. If you're in the Discord group, Catherine, pop some of the art in the Discord group. That'd be awesome. Old Home Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder. Yep. I have a few plots for movies. I actually partially wrote a movie. This is what Russell says. If I can get backing, I would finish it. Sounds good. I'd love to know if you're part of the Discord group, Russell. If you're not, drop down below. There's a description down below in the link. Yeah, maybe I can connect you with some folks that I know. Maybe potentially get you some backing. Incoherent Clam says, yo, Tyson, what's up, playa? Red Hulk was lame. And I got a job finally. Trump's economy. Let's go. Kudos to the job, man. Kudos to the job. Get that money, man. I'm just running through the chat, guys, making sure that I get everybody here. Did you, Jesus King says, did you do the art behind you? I always wondered. So this piece right here was actually done by an artist friend of mine out in Florida. And this is a phrase that I like. It says, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So, yeah, Walter White. Awesome. Yeah, drop into the Discord group. If you guys aren't part of the Discord group, it's in the description below. You can tap into that. We do some really cool stuff. We got some sporting events. We started a movie night the other night. Super cool. We do sporting events, WWE, some UFC stuff, all that other stuff. And then you can connect with like-minded individuals just like in this chat, and you can, continue the conversation with them. Awesome group of folks. Catherine says, I do graffiti art too. Awesome. I love that. I love graffiti art. Awesome. Jesus King, you're asking freehand or stencil? On this was a freehand. This one was a freehand. I have a painting up in my office over here that I did use a projection stencil for. It's Scrooge McDuck diving into dollar bills. I did use a stencil for that, a projection stencil. So, thanks, Russell. I saw your plot here. The plot has to do with time travel. Ooh, very relevant too. I don't know if you guys saw there was a time travel situation. There was these books about Baron and all this other stuff. Anyways, the plot has to do with time travel. It's a science fiction. Also aliens, of course. I don't want to give it away. I also wrote a plot to do with computer spy program. Ooh, it has a trick ending. I love that. Cool. Awesome, guys. All right, let me tap into the super chat. Let me make sure that I got everybody. Shout out to Hustler Forever for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to Serena. Thank you for the super chat. Patrick Kennedy for the 5 gifted memberships. Let's go. I'm actually going to drop a video about the October. Again, you don't have to be a member to hit the like button, hit subscribe. It's absolutely free, but you don't, But shout out to Patrick Kennedy for the 5 gifted memberships. I'm going to drop a video about the October Las Vegas shooting. I know it's going to get demonetized on YouTube, so I'm going to make it exclusively only to members. I'm working on that now. Ozzy Greg for the super chat. Shout out to Ozzy Greg for the super chat. Thank you. Shout out to Patrick Kennedy for the super chat. Let's go. And shout out to Patrick Kennedy for the super chat again. Let's go. Always greatly appreciate you guys, because without you guys, this show wouldn't even have relevance. So shout out to the moderators in the chat. And then shout out to everybody that's catching this on the live. You guys make this happen. Thank you guys so much. And if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. Again, I'll place some timestamps down there so you can move back and forth through the video. Yeah, I'm going to jump on out of here. Stephanie says, y'all freaking rock. Ready for Tyson channel. America. Let's go. Thanks, Ricardo. Really appreciate you guys. Honestly, truly appreciate everybody in the chat and watches these videos, because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So I truly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And I'm going to play this one more time before we get out of here because it is hilarious. And then we'll jump on out of here. Hold on. Where is it at? Here it is, right here.
Tesla. Going on now at the White House Tesla Auto Mall. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Very safe. It's very strong, heavy. It's all steel, stainless steel.
Come on down to Pennsylvania Avenue, just off Route 29, to get our best deal ever on a brand new Tesla.
I want to make a good deal here. They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
Get a Model 1 with a different panel and everything's computer.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer.
So don't waste your time going to those other Tesla dealerships with riots and flaming cyber trucks. You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
I love Tesla.
You gotta come down to White House Tesla Auto Mall.
This is really amazing.
Tesla. All right, guys, I am out of here. Catherine, thank you so much. Gina, YW, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Smash the like button, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See you tomorrow.